Hello, we are live with another episode of The Music Prophet. So for this week, we have, well, it's becoming a thing that every month I have a rapper on the show, which is kind of dope because I'm a fan and I think that they don't get enough press on the radio. So for this week, we have Mike Majorly in the show.
How's it going, brother?
What's up, dude? So, kind of give a background on yourself, like where you're from, kind of where it started.
I was born in Timmins, Ontario, a little town north of here. I moved out here when I was very, very young. My father lived out here, and from here I ended up moving up to Montreal with my mother, where I was raised. And from there, ended up being a little bad kid. Not going to school and falling in with the wrong crowds and all that stuff. Typical teenager. And ended up missing school and running away from home.
And then that's what got you into music?
Yeah, basically. Everything getting sent away from my family and all that stuff. They took me away from my family at a young age, children's aid and all that. Put me in a group home. So I was away from my parents for a long time. Out on the road and different cities, bouncing around, stuff like that. So I never really had a place to call home or that I belonged in, you know what I mean? So I was really just finding myself through the music and helping me project my message and my story through everything.
And then, so kind of when it comes to music, have you always been doing rap, like not quite auto-tune, but like that sort of trap inspired?
Oh, bro, no.
Rap
honest,
or?
I started doing this like super hip hop, like super like boom bap hip hop back in the day. Like we had a group in Montreal. It's called the Higher Class, THC, the Higher Class. We were a bunch of guys from different high schools. We all started rapping. We all came together. And we all just created a little group, and we would all pitch in together, go to the studio, and put songs together with us 5, 6 guys on the song. So it would just start pumping, it would start popping in all the high schools, right? And then from then on, we started picking up traction everywhere else. And then once I moved back here, everybody started going on and doing their own thing solo and finding themselves as artists. And now they all started their own labels and all that stuff. I ended up here and started my campaign over here.
How does that change? Because you'd be around a circle of artists constantly there, and then by the time you came to Sudbury, all of a sudden that sort of like fades away.
Oh yeah, it's a whole different lifestyle, right? Big city compared to out here. A lot of the same values and stuff like that through the music and everything, but environment and stuff like that, right? I fell with the drugs here when I came out here, right? And that's where I almost lost my life. They gave me 30 days to live and all that stuff. It's a lot with the environment and the people you choose to hang around that influence you a lot as a human being and a lot as an artist too, through your music and what you write and what you go through, right? What you write.
Has that changed the way that you approach music too?
Yeah, I find, yeah. A lot. It opened my mind to a lot of things. I'm able to listen to a lot of different genres. I'm not picky. I'm able to listen to up and coming artists and people who might not have all their production or their full potential in their music there, and I can hear it. You know what I mean? I can hear things that people are trying to do with their music other than just what I'm giving with it because I've been there. You know what I mean? I know what it's like to not have what you want with what you got. You know what I mean? You can only work with what you have. You know what I mean? You can't go beyond your means.
Can you actually expand on that? Because I feel like a lot of musicians, in general, a lot of artists, when they start out, you're kind of like you're stuck with your one skill set. Like if you can write, you're just stuck with writing, and you might want to get into doing rap or start doing like indie music, but you can't. You don't have a backup band, you don't have the production side.
It's honestly just go for it. That's what I've learned. Honestly, if you want to try something and if you think you can tackle it, just go for it. You got to start somewhere, right? Practice makes perfect. Everybody starts somewhere.
So where did you start? What is your first memory of writing a song?
Bro, I was literally, I used to be like scared. I used to have to like go into like, when I had projects for school, I used to have to like go in the closet and close the door to read them to my mom. Like I was that shy. And now it's like, I don't know how I can even do this, but it's crazy. I started just like, honestly, I started rapping because it was cool. It was cool and nobody was doing it. And honestly, I would just go on. I had a website I would go on and I would just write my rhymes down. It would give me all my rhymes and I would just do that. And then I would start putting up videos on Facebook, and everybody started commenting, oh, that's cool. That's crazy. That's great. At the time, they weren't even rhymes, but nobody else was doing it. So, right? Everybody's like, that's crazy. And nobody else had like the guts to put it up and take the backlash or whatever that might have came with it, right? So,
because it is. I mean, it's pretty. It's honestly a brave thing to put yourself out there that much.
And I was whack, bro. I was super whack. And then my lyrics now, I go back and look at them and they didn't even make sense. It's crazy.
But everyone's like that. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Let's be honest. The amount of when you first start out, your stuff's terrible.
Exactly. You just need. It's a lot of. You don't have experience too. It's life experience too. A lot of when you just start rapping for the fun of it, it's not really like you're trying to put your life into it. And then my life started getting involved. I started falling into all this stuff, and now it's every day to me. It's just what I breathe. I wake up. I don't even listen to music anymore. Really, I listen to beats. I don't like. It's just my life now. It's taking over.
So since you listen to beats for the most part, do you find that you get more inspiration, or is actually less inspiration to write?
Beats? I actually do get a lot more of my inspiration from beats than I do from just hearing music. I don't know what it is. It's just how my mind and how I flow with things, and I like to sing and get things out of me. I've been just starting to get into the singing. Really, I've been doing the rapping thing, starting to transition more into the vocalizing and the melodies and all that stuff, R&B and trap and all the soul that I grew up on. So.
Do you find you write from the heart?
Oh yeah, always. I can't write unless I feel something to it. So.
But at the same time, though, where's the line between this is from the heart, but then there's the line, this is too much information? So do you have a middle point?
I actually have like a little alter ego with my stuff. I do the R&B stuff that's from the heart, but everybody gets cocky. It's the rapper personality, right? So
it's part of the game, yeah.
Exactly. I get in my little moods, right, and I write my verses that are cocky and they're outspoken and stuff like that. So there's not really a line really that I find should be there. It's just what you put in what you're saying, right?
So nothing's off guard, would you say?
No, not necessarily. No, not me anyway.
Yeah, because it is, for some rappers there is, other people there isn't, right?
No, I have no holds barred. I say whatever I want.
Which is interesting because when Joey Karma was in the studio a while ago, he kind of said, he kind of talked about how it's the same, his story is a story. You can't change that.
Yeah, you can't change that for nobody, man. No, it's not gonna change if somebody else listens to it. You know what I mean? No.
But speaking of change, when you look at kind of the way that you as an artist has changed over the years.
Oh, I've matured a lot as an artist. I've found myself a lot and gotten a lot more serious with my craft. Just over the writing process and studio and going to different studios and knowing what works and what doesn't. And it's a long process, man. It's not easy finding your sound and doing all that stuff, but it's took me maybe 10 years to do that, man. It's been a long time.
So do you have any tricks or things that worked for you to finally find your sound?
Practice every day. Write every day. That's what I do. Write it. Even if it's something, just a little something, you gotta write it in your phone. If it's a little lyric here or there, if you're researching, just stay in the music. That's what I've been doing. Stay involved in the music.
Make it your focus. Yeah, because especially when, it's like that with a lot of art forms, especially in writing.
It's like that with anything too. If that's what you want to chase, and if that's your dream, or if that's your focus, then make it your all. You know what I mean? If you want it, then chase it.
Have you always had the dream of being a rapper, or was that
No,
is that a new thing?
this was just a hobby. This was just a pastime for a while. Like when we were in school and stuff like that, it was just a pastime. It was just fun for us, and then it started doing shows, start hearing people scream your name and say your lyrics and saying your songs help them, and it helps you. You know what I mean? It drives you. So it's helping me go, and that's what keeps me making music. Really, is just hearing how my music helps other people.
What's the best response that you've, or the best sort of reaction that you've had so far?
Lots, man. I hear lots of people tell me my music just helps them out of their feelings and out of all that stuff. It helps them get through things, and that's all that matters to me, to be honest. If it helps you, then I'm happy.
So there isn't, like one story or like one sort of conversation you've had so far that's just been most hard hitting, anything?
No, not yet. Not yet. No. There've been more. It's more just big stories, but I haven't yet to run into something that hits me yet.
It's still early, man. It's still early in your career too.
No, that's true. In my serious career, yeah, 100%.
Especially like that's the biggest difference I feel like in music is that, like in the first few years, that's still really early stage. Like it feels like you've done a lot, but it takes a while.
No, yeah, doing a lot behind the scenes and doing a lot seriously is a different story too. You know what I mean? Like actually going out and doing the shows and putting the music out, and as opposed to getting the songs recorded and having them built up and all that stuff like that. It's different. It's a lot different. You gotta stay consistent and you gotta stay present in the scene, right? And that's what I've been building behind the scenes, trying to do, is get myself set up so I can be consistent and have my music dropping.
Where is the time balance when you look at sort of your average day or week? How much time do you spend behind the scenes, and how much would you say you spend in front? Like doing the stuff people kind of see.
Exactly. Well, music is my everyday. Like I wake up and I put on music. I don't even make food. I put on my music before I make my breakfast, and I just
hey, that's the best kind of breakfast. Exactly, let's be honest.
Exactly, and I start writing. I write maybe once a day at least. But the way I write, it takes me about a week to write a song. But between the shows and everything like that, it's about like an 80-20 split between behind the scenes compared to in front of the scenes. A lot more work to be done behind the scenes before you can do anything up front, but.
And now that you have a bit of help for management, that makes things easier too, right?
Oh yeah, we got a couple big shows coming and stuff like that. We got a big one tomorrow.
Yeah, it's true. You're actually, let's talk about that because you're actually opening up for Dax.
Yeah, that's another show coming tomorrow at the Townhouse. Gonna be live 10 o'clock. Tickets are $25. It's gonna be super lit, man. The last show we did was. We almost tear the roof off the place, man. It's crazy. It's
impressive, especially some of the rap shows that that Suburb puts on.
We live, bro. We get super live, man. Turn right up. I'm excited too, and we got another big one too. We got Lloyd Banks coming up here too in February, so I'm flying back out for Montreal for that one.
What is that like? Because you've done a few of those shows where you play with a pretty big name. Do you get starstruck still?
The only one I really got starstruck by was Fetty Wap when he came. I didn't even get to meet him or nothing like that. They let me on stage with him when he did his performance, or just having him there. You know what I mean? Just seeing these guys on TV, you know what I mean? And the videos and stuff like that. There is a kind of little thing with it, but being an artist, and I've met a couple like Honey Cocaine and other ones like that, and they're just humans. They're just like me and you. It's the same. When you meet them, you actually speak to them as people, face to face. It's same thing. It's like just like me and you.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's surprising, man. A lot of people, well, in general, society kind of makes them seem spectacular, but in the end, they're just the same dude as you.
We're all people. We're all human. We all believe the same.
They just happen to have a bigger fan following, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But even musically, like the one thing that I've always kind of found with when you meet musicians is that there's a certain patience to some, and that others, they're really trying to push themselves forward. Like, you can tell the motivation when you meet an artist.
Well, that's another thing too. Well, some people too, then when you know you got it, and when you know what I mean, that could be one thing. But a lot of people too, like, if I know I got it, I'll say I got it. You know what I mean? I'm not just gonna. Some people are a lot more withheld with their stuff. They're a lot more
humble.
Yeah, exactly. It's everybody to each their own. That's what it is, you know.
But so for yourself, then, would you say that you're humble, or that you are okay to brag about saying that, like, I've got it, man?
I've worked for it. I've put the work in for it. I do have my moments, but I'd say for the most part, I am humble about everything.
Yeah, especially, I mean, especially when you're really focused on the music, and once you do the behind the scenes work, it's tough to say that egotistical, confident.
No, exactly. Especially when you're working with artists and in the music industry, it's a lot of that. You're meeting a lot of people. You're going to different studios. You're meeting different artists. You gotta learn to meet with people. You can't be hard headed. You can't be arguing. You can't be doing stuff like that. You're not gonna go nowhere. You're gonna ruin your name. You're gonna blackball yourself. You know what I mean? It's a lot in who you are too. You know what I mean? You can ruin a lot of opportunities and stuff like that for yourself. Just being like that. So you do gotta kind of humble yourself when it comes to things like that.
Especially in the studio, like the producer works with artists.
Oh no,
like yourself all the time, right?
Oh no, I've been in sessions where the artist is like, he's not acting right, and producer, no, get out. That's it. It's all people, man. It's the people. If they don't want to work with you, they don't want to work with you. That's what it is. Oh, we just hit the mic there.
Yeah, and a lot of and that's the biggest thing, is that sure, you can brag on a track,
and that's the thing too. An artist as a human being and an artist is two different things. And me, if I can see someone as a human, and that's two different things. If I don't like you as a person, it doesn't mean I don't like you as an artist. And you can it's two different things, right?
Yeah, I mean, but would you say it's accurate that what you do as an artist is different than what you do or rather, would you say that what Mike Majorly does is different than what Mike Major does? Is there a difference,
Not necessarily. It depends for everybody. It depends, right? Because some people just do it for the fun. Some people do it for life, and some people do it to eat, to make money and all that stuff. So some people are right at rapping about their life and all that stuff. And that's what I'm doing. Every day I'm out here, and all I do have to talk about, right? It's my story. I don't have time to talk about no one else.
You release a lot of singles, a lot of features. Yeah. And that's becoming the trend in hip-hop especially, this culture of releasing a ton of singles instead of one big album, right?
Yeah, I've been doing this for like 8 years. I still haven't dropped an album yet. I don't know. It's just more... it's mostly too, my mind scattered a lot too. So my songs are very much on topic, every song, but they vary between each one. So I have a hard time bunching them together and putting them into a project to put into an album or whatever the case, mixtape or EP or stuff like that. Another thing too, it takes me a long time to write my songs. I put a lot of time into my music. Like some songs will take me, and it's all in how I feel too, right? Some songs I'll put it on, I'll write the whole song in maybe a half an hour. Some songs it'll take me 3 months to write the song. So it all depends really.
So do you find that, which do you prefer? Like, do you think that it's important to release a lot of singles, or when it comes to the listening experience,
I like the quality over quantity. I'd rather put out one song every month than put out a song every week. That's half as good as the one song a month. You know what I mean? I'd rather put my time in. You can never put too much time into a song. You can never, in my opinion, really, there's never too much picking at it or taking it apart. But you can't spend too much time on it. Another thing too, because it does ruin things, but.
You don't want to overdo it, right?
Exactly. No, that's what I mean. You don't want to spend too much time dwelling on a project as well, but there's nothing wrong with going back and having issues and having to fix things, and even 20, 30 times over. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I mean, it kind of reminds me of You know, like when you see interviews with producers and they say that it was take 37.
Exactly.
That made the final cut.
I mean. You go in the studio and you mess up and go again. A lot of people, they get discouraged, you know what I mean? And they feel like, oh no, screw this, I can't do it. No. It takes time. It takes a lot of time and effort. Like a lot of these big songs you hear on the radio and stuff like that, it wasn't just an hour session, you know what I mean? It's days and days in the studio, doing the same lines over and over and over again till you get it right. That's what it is. It's your sound too. You got to be serious about your sound, and you know what you want for yourself as an artist.
Mm-hmm. How has that experience been for you? Because you've been in a lot of studios over the years.
Exactly.
So has your patience increased? You know, like what made it so it got easier to actually spend the time?
Yeah, I'm very, really, very picky with my music, so that's why it does take me a long time to put stuff out. So, but I've really, I'm shaking this mic here. There's an earthquake happening.
But patience in the studio, because that is something that you have to learn.
Exactly. No. Well, that's the thing too. Yeah, the guy behind the computer, right? You're not the guy. You're just the guy dropping the lyrics, right? So, a lot of the time, it takes time too. It's not an easy task to mix vocals and stuff like that too. So, and plus, when you know what you want, you know what I mean.
Yeah, and but when it comes to producers, are there certain names that you've worked with that are just that you've enjoyed?
Jordell Downs, Jordell. That's it. The only man on here. Great guy, man. Atmosphere is great. He's very welcoming. Amazing atmosphere in his studio, and he's a good friend too, so it helps too, right?
Take us through the experience of working with a producer. You know, I'm sure some people listening have done that. But at the same time, for anyone listening that isn't a musician, I feel like you can't really understand the process of showing lyrics and having someone actually make the song for you without doing it, you know?
That's what I tell people all the time too. Just being able to rap is a lot different than knowing how to make a song. Going into the studio and making a full track, because a song is not just rapping. It's not just you going in there and rapping.
So then, give some of the background. You know, like what else is involved besides that?
Oh, there's layers on audio. You know what I mean? You need to add it's not you need to have whole layers. So you can't just have yourself rapping. You need to mix in your audio as well, right? So you need to have your ad libs. You need to have your dubs. You need to have your punches. You need to have all your stuff, your layers, whatever you choose to put on there, and you need to know where to place those. It's not just a rap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you need to have certain 808s going in the background.
Yeah,
a bit of the beat.
It's like a puzzle. It's almost like a puzzle. That's how I see it when I write too.
Each piece has the right spot to fit only.
Exactly. Yeah. I try to push it too. With my syllables, I like to jump around too, right? So on my fast stuff, and that's kind of helped me as an artist write the slower music now and tackle the slower stuff, because it's harder for me to write slow music than it is to write fast music.
Why is that?
I have no clue. I think I'm a big burnout, bro. Like I can't think fast, but when I write, my mind goes. So. I have no idea why that is.
That's interesting, because even in rap, there is the genre of fast rap. You know, like it's a style.
Of course, and then that did influence me for a while. Like just as I started more into the beginning stages of my music, that influenced me a lot with my music, and I really got hopped into that a lot. You can see through all my old music that's on SoundCloud and stuff like that. It's all fast and stuff like that. And slowly through the months, I've been slowing it down.
Has that been a fun process?
Well, yeah. A lot of times people can't follow. And a lot of times people don't care. Like, you know what I mean? When I go to the studio and like me and 3 artists all have the same length verse, and they have 1 page and I have 3 pages, and like people they don't listen to it. They're not following that fast. People come up to me and they're like, all I hear is a bit, you know, don't want to, and it's Why waste my time? I can make stuff half the speed and it still says the same message.
Not to put you on the spot, but I'm actually wondering if it's like if you have a verse sort of on the top of your head that you could show that's quick. Because a lot of the music we played is...
I got one, yeah.
Because a lot of the music that we've played so far is a lot slower. Mm-hmm. And I think it would be really cool to show the listeners what it sounds like to go fast rap versus that. So, I mean... If you can do it, man, let's do it.
Okay. Still up in the spaceship, Pluto. Still ain't got to say shit, you know. Still up in the spaceship, Pluto. Sticking hip it, I wish I could do most. Still ain't trying to face it, really can't escape it. Don't think I felt this, still wish it would do most. Still got them waiting, really got them hating. Came out the basement, they hop, but it's cool. One trying to come down, but not too low. Don't spill my cups, I might need me like two more. You trying to get down with my crew, though. No, we not the same for this, let me thank you for when every day come with a new flow. All my girls stuffed up inside of my shoe, though. It's almost like they never knew, though. Open ass, tell me what's a pit to a put a lot of shit. Sipping lean, let me go sit, keep turn top, back seat, 30 got stick. Up and coming up, I don't know why they talk stick. From the moves like the sucker window.
That was sweet.
Yeah.
And like you can honestly tell, I think, that there is that difference.
Yeah,
you know?
Of course. A lot more time put into it too, right?
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned the difference in audience, because for someone that's not used to hearing that, it would you wouldn't really hear the syllables, the unique sounds.
And
the
we're
word
in
choice.
that day where people they listen mostly for the beat. You know what I mean? They're not really into the lyrics. We're getting more into that now. I see slowly in the culture. I'm realizing that people are starting to listen to lyrics a bit more now. But mostly they like the beat. They like the catchy tune. They like something that's gonna ring in their heads and sound nice in the car when you drive by. You know?
Has that played a factor in your change of sound over the years?
Yeah, here and there, yeah. I have certain songs now that I'll only perform because they bang hard, and I have songs that I'll put out, and songs that I'll keep for myself. You know what I mean? I know what goes where now, type thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, every artist needs a banger, and at the same time, you need a song that's for the lyrical.
You need to be versatile too, right? That's a big thing. You need to be able to show your versatility as an artist if you want to be picked up by labels and stuff like that. You can't just be a one-trick pony. It's not gonna take you nowhere.
But when it comes to, I feel like that also comes down to inspirations and what you listen to, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. Inspiration drives you as an artist. That's what it is, man. If you got no inspiration, what do you got to write about?
Yeah.
What do you got to need? That inspiration is motivation to me. That if I'm not inspired, I don't want to write. I don't want to do nothing regarding music, right?
Do you? And you said you listen to a lot. At the start of the show, you said you listen to a lot of beats. Mm-hmm. But what actually inspires you to write?
Feelings, traumatic situations, big things happening, stuff like that. I'll feel like something crazy, it's just a traumatic situation, and I'll just want to write. I'll want to get in the studio, or I'll want to get a song done and write a song, or I'll hear something. I'll hear something on the radio or something that'll make me feel some type of way, and I'll be like, I want to go home and write a song.
And is that do you find that it's an immediate instinctual thing at this point?
Yeah, of course. I'll hop right to it.
Yeah, it's interesting because, especially with art, it is one of those things that you can't control when you get those outbursts, you know?
No, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes I won't write for even now. I haven't written a song in 3 months, 4 months. Even Afterlife, like that verse is 2 years old. Like some songs I won't even put out for time. It's all in how I'm feeling in the moment.
Is that all right when it comes to that? Because within writing music, performing, releasing, sometimes there's a methodology, sometimes there isn't.
Yeah.
So are you the type of artist that has a ton of material saved up, Or do you write something, record it, release it right away?
Oh, I have a ton of material saved up because I spend so much time picking apart my verses and stuff like that before I record them. I make sure. But every time I go to the studio, I don't read lyrics. I'll always have my shit in my head. I always go there and just spit it off my head. I don't read off my phone. I don't read off the paper. I used to, not no more. But yeah, no.
That's interesting. So you memorize all the lyrics before I get to the studio.
Yeah, even for my shows, I don't rehearse for none of my shows. That's a thing for me too. I maybe should start, but I haven't run into no problems yet. Like I don't rehearse. Like I'll just find myself. I don't even come up with my set list till like 2 days before the show. I didn't even send my set list in for Dax yet. The show's tomorrow.
That's in it. Actually, I think that'd be cool to jump into that topic.
It keeps me on my toes, you know.
Keeps you on your feet, yeah. Mm-hmm. When you make a set list, because you're playing, like I mean, you're playing in front of Dax, who's a dope artist, and the odds of him actually doing anything or asking to come on a track is rare, right?
Exactly.
But at the same time, do you make a set list for the artist that you're playing with, or do you make a set list for the crowd?
No, I make it for the crowd. And like just recently, it was more for the artist that would come. It would be more to suit the genre of the show, right? But now it's more for the crowd. The crowd knows us. The city knows us, right? Everybody out here, anybody who's been to one of our shows knows what it's like. So,
talk about that. Like, give a description of a rap show in Sudbury.
One of our rap shows in Sudbury.
Of course.
Oh man. I never even end up making it to see the end because it gets that crazy. I end up drinking too much and everybody parties, but like, yeah, we get super lit, man. We tear the roof off the place. It's crazy. My buddy Crip freaking crowd surfed in the townhouse. The ceiling is like 7 feet high.
And people are 6 feet tall,
yeah,
so yeah.
I mean, you made it happen. Shout out Crip.
That is pretty dope. I feel like the townhouse hasn't had crowd surfing happen for a while.
Yeah. Crazy. I was thinking about it, but like, no. I'm too anxious for stuff like that.
It depends on your style, man. I mean, crowd surfing is dope, but...
Yeah, no, that's the thing too. And it depends on the crowd. The crowd will pump you up, man. The crowd gets me going. That's me. My energy all depends on the crowd too. Like, the crowd's dead. I'm dead. It's sad to say, but that's how I am, man. I run big off energies and I match energies, right? So that's how I am.
Well, and that's the whole goal, right? I mean, you have to you literally have to feed off your crowd.
Exactly.
Because if you don't have the crowd behind you...
Oh, we have fun with the crowd, that's for sure. We have lots of fun with the crowd. Tomorrow's going to be a big day, man. I'm excited for that show.
Right. And it starts at 10?
10 o'clock, yep. Doors open at 10. Pretty sure it should start by around 10:30, 11 usually. But we'll be going up. We'll be going up at the beginning. Me and my boy Storm Hogan. Shout out Storm.
And who else is performing that night?
We got Sinner X. We got Crypt. We got Storm Hogan. We got Jordell Downs. That's pretty much it. I'm pretty sure.
That's a nice mix of styles too.
Oh yeah, it really is too. It really, really is. I just heard the Sinner X guy. He's coming up from Timmins.
Yes, he played at the Status 631 show a while ago.
Okay, I know Status. Yeah.
Him and Status are buddies, which is and he's talented.
Yeah, well, no, I haven't heard none of his stuff, so I'm excited to see his set and see what he's about, for sure.
As a final thing, because we only have a few minutes left, are there people, because we're talking about a lot of local rappers here, Crypt is from North Bay, for the most part, Sinner X is from Timmins, Storm Hogan and you're from Sudbury now. So are there any local artists, whether they're rappers, singers, whatever, that you've kind of looked up to?
Not necessarily looked up to, but just valued and seen as talented and potential and a possibility to go somewhere as well. Yeah, got some good in the music industry. Anyway, you got my boy T Cross. He's a real good artist. He's doing a photography thing right now, but he's a crazy artist. Got Joey Karma making good music over there. We got a couple up and coming artists too. We got some guys who've been out here for time who just been keeping it low key. We got Trouble the Bandit. We got Boki the Bandit. We got Denstees. That's my boy. I did a couple songs with him that are out on Spotify. He's a real good artist. Who else? There's Floor River. There's Brazy, my boy Brazy. Shout out Brazy, and his crew RMG. There's a lot of youth coming out right now. Actually, it's surprising. And I've been Matthias. Speaking of, shout out my boy Matthias. Guy's crazy. Pino XL. There's a lot of artists out here. It's actually crazy.
It is surprising, like when you look at the amount of artists who are just in hip hop in Sudbury.
Even like people who are up and coming, like, oh man, I'm bringing some people out that nobody knows about out here. I'm working with a couple artists there, helping people develop their behind the scenes. So
that's interesting. It does sound like you're at that point where you know what you want, but also like you want to pass stuff on.
Exactly. I know what other people need. I know what other people who might not know what they need, who are just starting and stuff like that. And I like helping people, stuff like that, giving people opportunities and whatever, because I was that person once too. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to get their foot in the door, but they don't know how. You know what I mean? So
yeah, when you're in the game for a while, it's better to pass it on instead of keeping it to yourself. You know?
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
So before we go, tell us where we can find you and your music online.
I'm on Spotify, Mike Major, YouTube. I got one song on YouTube, Mike Major. SoundCloud is Mike Major. I got 2 SoundClouds, but they're both the same logo, so they're not that hard to find. You'll be able to find them. Other than that, all the future drops will be all on major platforms.
Dope.
No more SoundCloud.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for coming on the show. That was sweet.
Perfect, man. Thanks for having me, brother. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and so that will wrap up this week of The Music Prophet. So we'll see you next time.